The next fight up we're going to break down is in the welterweight division between rising contender and prospect in Jack Della Maddalena, who comes in with a record of 13 victories and 2 defeats, going up against a UFC veteran, so to speak, at this point in his career, in long, tall, and rangy Randy Rude Boy Brown, who comes back with a record of 16 victories and 4 defeats. This is a really interesting fight. It's not as easy as people are thinking for Jack Della Maddalena. I think just because of how dominant he's been in his UFC career, even though he had that slight submission scare against Ramazan Emeev, and the submissions are something he's going to have to look out for against a long, rangy fighter in Brown with the long arms and, just the long limbs in general, where he could potentially lock up the neck of Maddalena. This is going to be a hard fight. Randy Brown is not an easy guy to compete against. He has a very long reach, a very long range, and that's going to be something that Maddalena is going to have a hard time covering. I think it's going to be hard for Maddalena to close the distance. He's a minus 305 favorite on most sportsbook. I don't necessarily agree with the fact that he's that big of a favorite, but 5'11" to 6'3", so Randy Brown is going to have a 4-inch height advantage and a 5-inch reach advantage. 73-inch reach for Jack Della Maddalena, 78-inch reach for Rude Boy Brown. But even though he's got that reach, Randy Brown is so good at using it. He's going to be popping the jab. He's going to be slipping, rolling off the center line. He likes to fight out of the side stance a lot when it comes to his defense. He likes to pull, slip, roll, jab, lower his level, kind of squat, pop shot, jab, squat down, quick sit, I guess is what it's called. That's what I like to call it. So he'll jab, quick sit, slip, roll underneath, always be off on an angle, pop the jab, 1-2, right low kick, front kicks to the legs, side kicks to the knee to kind of stop the opponent from closing the distance, front kicks to the body. It's all the long range weapons for Randy Brown. But if you get in close to him, he has good submissions as well. He can lock up a front choke. He's very good at the what is it called? I can't think of this. I tried to think of it before. It's not the Bravo choke. What is it called? I can't think of it. Hold on. Not the 10-finger guillotine. It's the, hold on. Think of this. I can't think of this. Not the guillotine. I can't think of it, but it's like the rear naked choke grip, and you have them in the front headlock. If you can think of the name, then go ahead, but for some reason it's escaping me. I just talked about this too on one of the videos that I did, but if Maddalena leaves his head out there, he can get caught. We saw it against Ramazan Emeev, almost got caught in that Darce choke and submitted. But, it didn't happen, and he fought his way out, and when he got back up to the feet, he knocked him out. Maddalena has some of the best boxing in the whole UFC, let alone in the welterweight division. And Randy Brown is a guy where he's very good defensively, but he is hittable because he keeps his hands so low. And keeping your hands so low against a technician like Jack Della Maddalena, I think it's a recipe for disaster when it comes to Randy Brown. I really do. I know he's long, I know he's rangy, but Maddalena is so good at slipping, rolling underneath the shots, and immediately coming back with counters. He loves the right hook to the body in southpaw. He loves the left hook to the body in orthodox. And the fact that Maddalena is fighting a guy in Randy Brown who likes to fight out of that side stance, that traditional side stance sometimes when it comes to how he defends, from strikes with the slips, rolls, pivots, quick sits, stepping off on an angle. If Maddalena can get that outside foot when Randy Brown is in that side stance, being parallel to your opponent opens up the body for hooks and uppercuts. So I think if he can get that outside foot when Randy Brown uses those slips and rolls, if he can fake and feint, step to the outside with the lead foot and slam that left or right hook to the body, slam the uppercuts to the body, and then work his way with the hook, cross, hook, jab, hook, cross, up top to the head. When he gets his combinations going, Jack Della Maddalena can flow. I don't necessarily think we're going to see much grappling from either guy. I think this is going to be a striking matchup. If Maddalena is stuck behind the jab, the front kicks, the side kicks to the knee, and all the long, rangy weapons of Randy Brown that use that he uses to accentuate his advantages inside the cage and inside his mixed martial arts game, then Randy Brown can run away with it. But due to the lateral movement, due to the slips, due to the rolls, there's no wasted movement when it comes to Jack Della Maddalena, both offensively and defensively. When he moves laterally, he rolls underneath, he slips, but it's little slight changes. It's not a big roll where he steps off balance and he has to adjust his stance. It's not a huge slip where he has to readjust, get back to the center, and then work. He can use those slips and rolls and use that, very efficient movement to come back with counters. And I think that's where Randy Brown is going to get pieced up. The slips off the jab, coming back with the shot to the body, left hook up top. When he gets in the side stance, Maddalena steps to the outside with the lead right foot, right hook, left uppercut to the body, left hook. Then he comes back up top because Brown's going to defend the body. Right hook, straight left, switch orthodox, double jab, right hand, left hook to the body. I mean, even against Danny Roberts, once he started working the body and got Roberts up against the cage, he shut him down. That shot to the body was nasty. The hooks to the body from Maddalena, whether it's orthodox or southpaw, because he will switch stance mid-combination and cut you off and then just bombard you and drown you under his beautiful technical boxing. The guy does not waste any movement. Like I said, defensively, he's extremely well-rounded. He's got some of the best boxing in MMA, and I just think it's going to be too much for Brown. If Brown can use his range, use his distance, use his kicks, and keep Maddalena unable to close the distance, then I think he can piece him up and potentially get a decision. But I just don't see him being able to keep a guy like Maddalena, who's so effective with his movement, lateral movement, and so, there's no wasted movement when it comes to Maddalena, like we said. And I just think eventually he's going to close that distance, get the outside foot, catch Brown in the side stance, and start ripping him to the body, work up top, get a bombard him with a barrage of punches, and eventually get him out of there. So my pick is going to be Jack Della Maddalena to improve his win streak, stay undefeated in the UFC, and move to 14-2, defeating Randy Brown via a second round TKO. I think he will get out of the first round, but that side stance and the lack of respect that Randy Brown has for the offense of his opponents, if he keeps that hands down style and that side stance kind of traditional martial arts style, when he slips and rolls away from shots, Maddalena is going to get that outside foot, tear that body up, work up top to the head, and get him out of there. So Jack Della Maddalena to improve to 14-2 and defeat Randy Rude Boy Brown via a second round TKO. I like Maddalena when it comes to the betting spots. He's like a minus 315, something like that on the money line. But I would say take the fight doesn't go to decision or Jack Della Maddalena by TKO. Those are probably your two best bets when it comes to breaking down this fight, because I don't think Randy Brown would make it the distance. And I think if Brown's able to beat Maddalena, he'll probably lock up a submission or something. But I don't see it going the full 15. So either fight doesn't go the distance, under 2.5, or Jack Della Maddalena by TKO. Those are the looks on the fight, but I'm going with JDM via TKO.